Hello and welcome back to Tech Talks with Kensoft. I'm your host, and I'm thrilled to be back behind the mic with you. As always, I'm joined by our resident expert to sift through the noise of the tech world.
Great to be here. And today we are unpacking a scenario that is practically a masterclass in how not to structure a network.
Yeah, we have a really fascinating deep dive for you all today. We are looking at the massive cyber incident that hit the Victorian Department of Education in January of 2026.
Right.
And we aren't just reading the headlines. Our mission today is to look at the why, the network architecture behind it, the real risks to students regarding identity theft, and of course, the political fallout.
Because it is a massive story.
It really is. To set the stage,
Sure.
we need to wrap our heads around the scale. We are talking about unauthorized access, potentially impacting 1,575 government schools.
Over 665,000 students.
Yeah.
That is current students and past students. It is a staggering human cost.
It is. So let's get right into the facts. According to the official Victorian government release, an external third party breached a specific Department of Education database.
Yes, and usually when we do a deep dive into breaches, we look for the crown jewels, right? The financial data, health records.
But those weren't touched here.
No, they explicitly stated that birth dates, home addresses, phone numbers, and family medical records were safe.
Which I imagine made a lot of parents exhale.
Oh, absolutely. But, and this is a big but, we need to look at what was actually compromised.
Right. Student names, their school, year levels, school-issued email addresses, and encrypted passwords. So I have to ask you, with the home addresses safe, is this just bad or is this catastrophic?
Well, I mean, the sheer volume makes it significant. The government emphasized the passwords were encrypted, which sounds safe to a layperson.
It sounds like scrambled text.
Exactly. But in our world, encrypted does not mean inaccessible. If a teenager used a weak password like, school 2026, it is incredibly easy for hackers to crack the encrypted hash.
Yeah, that doesn't take a supercomputer.
Not at all. And the department knew this. Their immediate response was to deactivate passwords entirely and force schools to issue new ones at the start of the 2026 school year.
Which is, I want you to imagine being an IT admin for those 1,500 schools.
A nightmare.
Trying to re-credential over 500,000 kids while the teacher's just trying to get through first period.
Yes.
But let's pivot to the structural issue here. Because the big question in my research was, how did they get everyone's data at once?
That is the core technical failure. We pulled a great analysis from Security Brief Australia featuring Jason Pierce from Clarity.
Oh, I love the analogy he used.
Right. He said a single loose brick brought down the entire wall.
A single loose brick.
Yes. Because they were running what we call a flat network.
Just explain that for the listener who might be, say, running their own business network right now. What is a flat network?
Imagine a giant warehouse. You have a massive, heavy lock on the front door. That's your perimeter firewall.
Okay, sounds secure.
From the outside, sure. But once someone breaks that front lock and walks in, there are no internal walls, no locked rooms, no security desks.
They can just wander around.
Exactly. They can walk from the reception desk straight to the CEO's office without passing another checkpoint. Once you are past the perimeter, there are no internal barriers.
Because everything is on the same plane.
Right. The intruder can move sideways, what we call lateral movement, straight to the central databases.
And contrast that with zero trust.
Well, with network segmentation or zero trust, you have internal firewalls. If an attacker breaches a small primary school out in the suburbs, they should be trapped in that school's network.
But here, there was a single entry point.
Yes. One entry point allowed access to a central database covering every student in the state. Pierce emphasized this wasn't some sophisticated Ocean's 11-style heist.
They didn't need to be criminal mastermind.
Exactly. The centralization of the data without internal firewalls just created a massive, easily accessible, high-value target.
It's like putting all your eggs in one basket and leaving it in the town square.
Pretty much.
So let's talk about the so what factor. Because the government stated there is no evidence that data has been released publicly yet.
That is what we call the nothing to see here fallacy.
Right. Because David Brow wrote a fantastic piece in Information Age about this.
The long tail of risk.
Yes, the long tail. Break that down for us.
Well, cybercriminals today are building dossiers. They aren't always looking for a quick payday.
They're patient.
Very patient. They have a student's name, their school, and an email address today. They index that.
Just file it away?
Yep. Then maybe next year, a different breach happens. Say, a local sporting club gets hacked, and that leaks a phone number.
So they cross-reference it.
Exactly. They stitch it together. And you have to remember, today's Year 9 students are tomorrow's home buyers. They're tomorrow's bank account holders.
That is terrifying.
It's profile building. But there is also an immediate risk, which is social engineering.
Phishing emails.
Yes, but highly targeted ones. Imagine a student gets an email that says, "Hi, please update your Year 9 assignment password here." And it uses their real name and their real school name.
It looks completely legitimate.
Extremely convincing. And that is the real risk to the students right now.
Okay, so a breach of this magnitude obviously doesn't happen in a vacuum. It brings us to the regulatory and political fallout.
And the watchdog did step in quickly.
They did. The Office of the Victorian Information Commissioner, OVC, commenced an official investigation on January 22nd.
Right, they are checking to see if the department upheld its obligations under the Privacy and Data Protection Act 2014.
So it's not just about what the hackers did, it's about what the government failed to do.
Precisely. Did they take reasonable steps to secure the data? If a flat network is deemed unreasonable, there will be serious regulatory consequences.
And that spills right over into the political arena. We saw some intense debate in the Parliament of Victoria in early February.
Yes. MP Brad Roswell raised the issue on February 4th.
And as always, we are just looking at the facts of the debate here, not taking sides.
Of course. Roswell's main criticism was aimed at the Minister for Education, Ben Carroll.
Because there was a statement on January 15th, but then nothing.
Right. Roswell called it radio silence regarding the actual scope of the breach and how it specifically impacted past versus present students.
Which is a valid concern when you have families waiting for answers.
He highlighted the risks of foreign actors getting this data and the general reputational harm to the state.
It really shows that managing a cyber incident is half IT and half public relations.
Oh, absolutely. Trust is very easy to lose and very hard to rebuild.
Now, I want to bring this back to you, the listener. Because it is easy to hear about a government department with 600,000 students and think, well, I run a small logistics firm. This doesn't apply to me.
But it absolutely does.
We looked at some insights from Moores and Resilient Services, and they point out that other organizations can learn a lot from this failure.
Moores actually outlines common failures that lead to these breaches, and they are surprisingly mundane.
It's not usually zero-day exploits.
No, it's human error, or old information not being destroyed.
That stuck out to me. The past students being caught up in this breach.
Yeah.
Why was their data still sitting in an active database?
Exactly. Archiving or destroying old data is crucial. If you don't need it daily, it shouldn't be on your primary network.
Moores also mentioned the classic problem of spreadsheets being emailed around.
Yes, instead of using secure platforms, sending a spreadsheet full of client data to the wrong person on a Friday afternoon is a massive risk.
So how do we shift our thinking on this?
Resilient Services talks about the resilience mindset.
Not if, but when.
Right. Reactive responses, just trying to fix it after it breaks, are not enough anymore.
You need stress tests.
Stress tests, proactive planning, and training your staff on basic cyber hygiene.
So to synthesize everything we've looked at today, we are talking about a massive breach caused fundamentally by a flat network architecture.
A single loose brick.
Yes, resulting in a long-tail privacy risk for hundreds of thousands of students, which sparked a major investigation and fierce political debate.
It is a textbook case of why network segmentation matters.
Before we sign off, I know you had a final provocative thought you wanted to leave the listener with today, something to mull over.
I do. Think about your own workplace. If a massive government department with millions of dollars in resources can have a single loose brick bring down their entire wall, how secure are the networks holding your professional data right now?
That is a very sobering question.
Are your systems segmented, or are you running a flat network and just hoping the front door holds?
Something we all need to check on. Thank you so much for breaking down the technical side of this incident for us.
It was a great discussion.
And thank you all for tuning in to this deep dive on Tech Talks with Kinsoft.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Now, if this deep dive raised any red flags about your own network architecture, or if you want to ensure you aren't running a flat network yourself, don't wait for a breach to find out.
Be proactive.
Exactly. Go to www.kinsoft.com.au to discuss your security and IT needs with the team.
Get those internal firewalls built.
We will see you next time. Stay secure out there.